Good morning, Tee2Green, back for another Saturday here on WGR Sports Radio 550 and also on our video stream at Tee2G Buffalo on Instagram, on X, on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. It's PGA Championship week. Yeah, we rolled out the PGA Championship music theme. Good job, Evan. Kevin, what do you think?
It's my ringtone, so it's all good. No,
it is.
I didn't know this was the actual
official
theme.
PGA Championship theme.
Every major has their own song, don't they? Yeah.
The Players' Championship even has it. You should
know that.
I
know that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, it's PGA Championship week, which means we're going 2 hours, and we're happy to be with you here on WGR. Brian Koziel, Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro Jeff Meadus, Jeff Blank producing our video stream, Evan DiPasquale producing our on the radio side, and we've got a good show coming up here.
Did John Tesh come up with the PGA champ? Like, he's got the NBA. Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun, dun. I probably shouldn't do the whole thing. We're probably got to pay a royalty to John Tesh.
I don't know who did the PGA Championship theme, but I can get that for you if you need it.
That's it's a good theme, but like John Tesh's NBA and NBC theme is like the greatest ever in sports, right?
It's definitely in the top.
It's awesome. All right. Anyway.
Yes, I agree. All right, coming up here on the show, as I said, 2 hours because it's major week, and we'll be talking a lot about the PGA Championship, include going live to the golf course in Philadelphia at Aronimink Golf Club. Tim Freeze, PGA Pro here, and of course with Glen Oak, is there. He's working for the PGA of America this week. It's their event, and Tim will join us at 8 o'clock for some on-course perspective. He was announcing and starting players this week, so we'll have that coming up. 7:45, because it's Triple Crown weekend. Ryan Hasenauer. We'll check in with him for a few minutes. Preakness this week, and of course, Batavia Downs, part of our sponsorship of our fantasy Tee2Green League, which also includes our friends here at Glen Oak. Which
Preakness is today?
Preakness is today in the
I
afternoon.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so get that set to go. And Chris Kalinsky from the PGA of America, the Director of Recruiting, going to join us here in just one moment. If you're watching on the video stream, he is here as well. You can see Chris. But just real quick before we get to Chris, one quick thought on the PGA Championship. Jeff, this is your event as a PGA member.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's got a little extra specialness for you. What's the big headline for you for the first 2 days?
Well, the course is the headline, I think. And when they're complaining that it's hard, it's a major. So complaining about pins, complaining about this and that, and seeing the scores are high, and seeing the guys have to really, really work. They really put a value on par early in this event. I think the scores will go down a little bit this weekend because there won't be so much wind, and the pins might be a little easier today. But overall, yeah, I think we still got halfway to go. You see some names that you're not familiar with near the top, but I think by the end of the weekend, we're going to recognize more names.
Strategy. I think that's the word I think of the first 2 days at Aronimink. You've had to have some strategy and not just try to bomb and gouge, despite what Rory said, leading into it. There's no strategy off the tee. Well, not exactly correct, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to be in the fairway because you got to control your spin, because these greens are so difficult. If you can't control your spin, it's real hard. Even though they're huge greens, you still got to be in the right spot.
Like sometimes hitting it to 30 feet away is a good play, and two putting and getting out of there with par. Sometimes par is a good score.
Not sometimes. A lot of times, especially at a PGA Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, and Scheffler, we're going to hear his sound about this a little bit later on in the show, talked about the pin placements and all that, but there's been a lot of times where it looks as though the player is in really good birdie position, but putts aren't dropping, and a lot of it is just because of the fact of where the pin is placed. It's a difficult spot to putt from. Even you might say, why are these guys missing so many 10 and 12 footers? because of where the pins are in tough spots there. It's tough to, a lot of these guys are saying, hey, the roof's going to fall off on the other side of the pin.
Yeah, sometimes it's a control. You're playing, all right, what's my miss? This doesn't, like, I don't want to race it.
Short side yourself.
Yes.
I know the 3-putt putts per 100 is more than double this week than it is on a regular tour event. And you can imagine why. The pin greens are big and they're super fast and hard pins. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so lots on the PGA Championship. Alex Smalley and Maverick McNeely are your leaders at -4. Hideki Matsuyama, the big name. There's 6 players at -3, and then some monster names at 2 that include Scheffler, Young, Thomas, Oberg, all of them.
It's a tight leaderboard. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff's going to happen this weekend.
It'll be interesting to see how those young players handle it. The pressure late on a Saturday, when ahead of them there's going to be people roaring for Young, Thomas, and Scheffler when they're making birdies. And the experience, I think, is going to matter.
Yeah,
it's going to matter for those guys.
Yeah, and only that group that we said only 2 off with 2 full rounds.
By the way, if you never watched Alex Smalley play, beautiful swing. I mean, his swing is fantastic. Like, I love watching his swing. Great young player.
Born in Rochester, right?
Yes, he was. Yeah, I asked his mother about this. Now she's like his coach. Like, she tracks all this. Like, she's out there. She's tracking all his shots and stuff. I said, "Oh, you're from Rochester," and she's like, "Wow, he was born there." His father was in grad school at U of R, and that's where he's born. But we're from North Carolina.
Okay, very nice.
Well, we'll claim him anyway.
Yeah, well, listen,
he's in the
you're born where you're born.
Yeah,
yes,
I agree. All right, well, you just heard Chris's voice, Chris Kalinsky, from the PGA of America, the director of recruiting. Chris, good morning officially. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah. Describe your role, Chris.
Oh, man.
Director of recruiting. I know you're not just a recruiter.
Yeah. So, I like to say it's more about awareness, what we do and what I do, my team does across the country. We're trying to create awareness about the golf industry and what opportunities exist. A lot of people don't know there's over 2 million jobs in golf, right? You can do so many different things. And there's a need for people in the golf industry right now. Our PGA professionals are getting a little bit older. They're retiring. There's also a need for people, to work in operations, to work in agronomy, to work in management. A lot of people don't realize all the opportunities in golf. So it's my job and my team's job to create awareness about those opportunities across the country.
Yeah, the motion picture industry is smaller than the golf industry. So the golf industry has a huge impact financially throughout our country. And it, like you said, there's a lot of tentacles that golf has that people aren't aware of, that you can be in the industry and work in 10 different veins.
Yeah, people don't realize over 102 billion with a B, not million, right? Wow. That's how big the industry is. It's such an influential industry. And since COVID, it's really even grown more, right? There's opportunities to work in simulators. There's opportunities to work in technology. There's so much going on in the golf industry, and people don't realize, oh my gosh, I can take my love for accounting or finance and do it in golf, right? Like, every golf course needs a comptroller. There's a lot of opportunities right now, and it's our job to, kind of communicate those to people across the country. And it's military veterans, second career individuals, high school students, college students. People don't realize you can go to a PGM university and you can come out with your PGA of America membership and kind of have that guide you through the industry. One of my favorite sayings that when I speak to kids and adults and anybody is that the first sport you should work in if you want to work in sports is golf, because every other sport plays golf. People don't realize that, right? So if you want to work with the NFL, the NBA, you want to work in any sport, start working in golf, because you meet so many successful people. Your ability to network with very successful people teaches you skills that you can use for the rest of your life in any job that you have. So it's really cool to do what I do. Everybody asks me, like, what do you do, Kalinsky? What's your job?
Yeah, we always wonder.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'll see me and I'm waving to them on a golf course sometimes, and that's a good thing. But it's great to do and communicate with people. And I have an amazing position with the PGA of America. We identified a need as an association to create that awareness, let people know what it's like. We have, executive directors, tournament coordinators at 41 sections across the country. There's allied organizations, the U.S., the USGA, the PGA Tour, the American Junior Golf Association. There's so many acronyms in golf that we all don't think of. Yeah,
New York District. Yeah, you just go down the line.
Yeah, and there's so many people that are running great programs that, people don't realize, I can apply for this job. I can look for that. And one of the things that we're really proud of at the PGA of America, we have created kind of a brand and a marketing platform called Make Golf Your Career. So you go to makegolfyourcareer.org and you can see all the jobs in the golf industry. You type in finance, you type in accounting, you type in operations into that website, makegolfyourcareer.org, and it'll pop up all the jobs all across the country. And we're trying to make that a one-stop shop for people to kind of see. And there's a lot of great resources there. You can learn about PGM universities, what it takes, what pathways you can get into the industry on. So that's something that we've really worked on, and I'm proud to kind of be behind the scenes running that whole thing. So it's a really, really, again, a cool time to be in the golf industry, and I'm just super happy to be doing what I'm doing.
Is that website, is that a spot where clubs can post jobs, send them to the PGA of America, or they're in a portal where, okay, you know what, we need a assistant director of food and beverage or whatever, they can post that there?
Yeah, 100%. So what that site does is it aggregates all the jobs in golf from the internet and from some of the companies that we work with specifically. We work with a lot of major companies like Troon, Kemper, like those big MCOs where they're posting their jobs for food and beverage, agronomy, golf, whatever that might be out there. They're getting their jobs posted there. You can upload your own resume there so that they can find you, which is pretty neat as well. So the way that the site's built, golf courses get their jobs posted there. It automatically comes over from our PGA site, which is kind of neat. So the PGA of America knows we have our own little portal for PGA professionals, courses to post their jobs, but those jobs automatically come over to that Make Golf Your Career site. We work with these big companies to make sure that there's all their jobs posted there as well. So it's just, again, a one-stop shop that we're trying to make it for people to kind of see what exists in the golf industry.
You said a lot of golf professionals across the country that maybe the age group that you guys have right now, that they're getting toward the end of their career here. So, I mean, what's the pitch to teenagers right now that might be thinking that, hey, they love golf, they love playing golf, that they could make this maybe a pathway for them to be, and I know you've said in the past, a full-time job, part-time job, both, like at some point during the course of their life.
Well, and it's a good question because your son's considering this as a career.
Yeah. My son is. We visited actually some of these PGM schools, so I'll have some extra questions for you later on too. But yeah,
there's no better time, right? Because of the age of our PGA professionals, right? What happened with COVID? They said, "Hey, Chris, everybody, we need bodies, we need people that are breathing, we need people to work." But it did change the way that members do look at their PGA professional. They're not saying work 80 hours a week anymore. They're saying, all right, we all need to work that 40 to 60 hour week. That's where the max output is. So the golf industry has come back a little bit, retracted on how many hours you have to work. And it's more of an appealing job now. So for these young men and women who are getting into the industry, the days of the 80, 90 hour work weeks that some of us have experienced in the past, those are kind of gone, right? Like we all know where we're going to have that real successful day or week. So for kids that are getting into the industry, you get to work outside.
Yeah, what experiences we've had as PGA professionals in our life. Yeah, the things we've done.
That's the biggest thing that I miss, right? I work at a home office in Buffalo, New York, and I miss being able to go hit putts, hit shots, teach kids, teach men and women. I still do a little bit of teaching on the side, but it's great to know that opportunity to be outside, play the game of golf, network with very successful people. There's no better time right now for these young men and women. I have 3 daughters at home. They're all going to work in the golf industry because of the people that they meet, the skills that they develop. And I could see a couple of them working in sport as they get older, right? So there's a great opportunity for the young kids that, if you love the game and you're passionate about it, like working in golf is such a great way to do it. And then becoming a PGA professional, you can have a viable career for the rest of your life.
And to that point, both my daughters worked in the golf industry. Now they don't play much, but it certainly helped them out. My daughter got her job in Boston because of someone she knew at a club she worked at. And those are the kind of things that the golf industry will do for you.
Hopefully Brian heard you. You don't have to work 80 hours a week. Hopefully.
Yeah, Brian's got a long day
doing
today.
that, haven't you?
I know. No, but you're right. Sometimes it's somebody within the golf industry that might lead to a connection that could lead to something for you else along the way. But I also, just because of your daughters, and I know from my interactions with them, some of those just pure skills that they learned, I'm sure, when they were younger, working at clubs and working part-time, Jeff, that translates well into any career.
Into businesses. Yes. Yeah, because you learn to be professional, you be on time,
how to communicate with people,
report yourself the right way, how to speak, all the things that you need to do that you learn in this industry, those transfer, Chris, to any industry that you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's fun. They had fun working. Every day was fun.
Yeah, you're outside, you're interacting with people, you're just having a good time. And again, for anybody that's looking for those, opportunities, right? Like high schoolers, even in college. That's who we talk to, right? We talk to these people. You also don't have to be great at the game of golf to work in the industry. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like you could just, have a little knowledge or none, and you'll get that training from the right people. The soft skills. Got to have a personality, got to be able to talk to people, look them in the eye, dress a little bit appropriately. Although nowadays you can wear Jordans to the golf course, right? You can wear, I do every day, right?
Hoodies.
So, hoodies. We got hoodies on, right? We all have hoodies on today, which is pretty cool. So, there's a lot of great opportunity. And golf is becoming, again, that cool sport, which is fun.
And to that, we did something pretty cool the last couple of days with the city of Buffalo. We tell them, this is kind of the outreach you do all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sat down with some of the Buffalo phys ed teachers and educated them about, what does teaching golf look like in schools, right? Using different programming. We took in a snag program, which is kind of starting new at golf. It's a little program with plastic clubs, tennis balls that are sticky. And we taught them how to teach children. And then we also taught them about what opportunities do exist in golf. So, we're educating the teachers to then educate the students that these opportunities do exist. And we do that with college coaches across the country. I'm in Vegas every year at the National College Coaches Convention, speaking to the college coaches about how to educate their athletes about what exists in the golf industry. There's a lot of great opportunity. Just speaking with the local, teachers, it was great to see them really have a little fun, right?
Yep.
We had them have fun. They were laughing and saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. This is really cool. I'd love to bring this into my classroom." But they also learned what opportunities do exist in golf too.
And they also learned what the Western New York PGA could do to facilitate golf in the schools, because that's what we do. We have a foundation that can help out and create some of these opportunities for kids to learn. So if other schools are listening, hey, you want to talk to Tori Shiro here and see what we can do to help you get golf in your schools.
And if any players in the Live Golf League are listening, there might be a career opportunity. Sorry, too soon? All right. Not sure. Well,
maybe
not
Bryce
yet.
can handle our social media account for us here at the Western New York PGA.
Sorry.
I knew you were waiting to just for the door to open.
Well, I walked through.
That's right.
It was open.
That's okay.
Slightly open.
Yes. We're live here, Tee2Green, at the Western New York PGA headquarters at Glen Oak. And we're joined by the PGA of America Director of Recruiting, Chris Kalinsky, Brian Colesdale, Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro, Jeff Meadus. We'll get tip of the week coming up. We'll check, of course, the leaderboard. And hour number 2, Tim Freeze, PGA Pro from Glen Oak here. We'll just from the PGA Championship at Aronimink Golf Club, and we'll get a little insight on what it was like. He's been walking and working all over the course, so we're excited to talk to him a little bit later on. Okay, another thing, obviously, PGA professionals give lessons, and golf, my goodness, here it's May 16th here. Are we going to get golf weather here? I think this weekend and into next week we are. So people are going to be excited about new clubs, lessons, getting out on the golf course, things like that. But lessons, I know, is something that Jeff, I know, always harps on this about. Just if I go to my phone here, how to fix my slice, and I have 4,000 YouTube videos that pop up instantly, Chris. But what's really the best way to get a lesson here from a PGA professional here?
I think, we've got a great access, PGA.coach, showcases a lot of our golf professionals across the area, but just look for the PGA or the PGA professional. Jeff and I were talking about that yesterday. I kind of love YouTube and I hate it because all those people, a lot of my lessons come to me and they say, "Hey, I was on YouTube and I completely got screwed up." Right. So I'm just like, okay, let's fix that. The best teachers, they're going to be PGA professionals across the area. And there's so many good ones in here. Western New York has, I think, over 285 professionals in the area. Right. So find a PGA professional. They're going to help you. They're educated. It's like when you become a PGA professional, you have your master's degree in the game of golf. And that's one of the things that we try to stress. And find the right personality. You might go to somebody and they might not fit your personality. That's okay. Find somebody that does. There's so many great ones around the area. But looking for that PGA professional, you just Google it. AI will spit out some local names. It's great to have so many great teachers in this area. But I always say, before you go buy driver, before you go buy an iron set, make sure you talk to a PGA professional. They're going to fix your swing, get you in the right spot. Then you get fit for your clubs. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Plus, you're on YouTube. They can't see what you're doing, right? Some people are 6'3", some people are 5'2", some people are, have a bowed left wrist, some people have there's a million things they can't see. So when you could be compounding your problems by just picking up something online,
because everybody swings different.
Everybody swings different based on their body type, what sports, what background.
And that's why
baseball player, hockey player,
and that's what are able to do in person, Jeff, as a PGA pro, right? You take their swing and, okay, how do we adjust from there kind of thing? Or, hey, this is a good part of your swing. Keep this going. But obviously a video is not going to show that.
Yeah, then you use video and a TrackMan and models and drills. And that's the way to get better.
It's I think like people ask me, hey, who should I go see a lesson from? Like, well, are you a technical person or are you just like want one thing or whatever? Because there's so many good PGA professionals in the area, right? I could send them to anybody. They're gonna be fine. But like, I just know I'll just use you as an example, Jeff Meadis. I'll say, you know what? If you just want it simple, go see Jeff. And I'm not saying you're simple. I'm saying no, but you simplify the complicated for them. I'm just going by my own experience. Jeff will look at the swing and is like, okay, I know what you're doing immediately. Like, because you've given so many lessons, you've seen so many things, but you also know the person's swing and you're able to identify, you know what, your grip's just off. Let's just change that. And that's just one thing, right? And then there might be 3 things to work on.
But if A, that affects B,
correct,
C, D, and E. And the other thing is you teach different people differently. You get a mechanical engineer in front of you who wants to know it, then you teach that person differently. You get a left brain, right brain type of, you get different personalities in there, and you teach them based on what's in front of you, and you try to make it simple. If I'm telling you 82 things to do in a swing, that means I know nothing.
That's right.
So,
I always tell my students, like, hey, what 2 or 3 things do you want to get out of this time with me today? And let's accomplish those goals, right? So that's what we're trying to do as PGA professionals. And the best ones, again, they know how to diagnose. I always loved Harvey Penick, right? Like, he would sit under the tree and he would just listen, right? And if you hit it solid, he was like, that was good. Those are that contact with the ball. You can tell when it pops off the face when you're working with your students, right? They say, oh, that light bulb moment, right? And a lot of times you're just observing and then you're chiming in, right? And then you're letting the students know, all right, let's duplicate that. What do we do there? How do we do that? So again, 2 to 3 things every lesson is usually what I try to get out of it. Make sure my students feel comfortable walking away. And that's how I built my lesson book, right? We all have students that we've worked with for a long time. I unfortunately don't have as much time as I used to. I love teaching the game. And you guys all know women and kids for me is my wheelhouse. I love getting people into the game, teaching them. But it's really fun to see that light bulb moment. And the best instructors, they do know, hey, let's just take it slow. Let's get you a couple things and then we'll move on from there.
And then we all work together too. Like we get together, we share ideas. Watching Chris teach juniors, I learned a ton from watching Chris teach juniors. Maybe I go and watch John Hecker or Tim Freeze teach, and I'm going to learn something from them. And that's how you get better. And that's what we love to do as PGA professionals. So that's why we got in this business.
Well, I think that's a huge point, right? This is about helping each other, and the PGA of America professionals all help each other, right? That's the one great thing. I've learned so much from Jeff, from Tim, from a lot of my mentors, and that's one of the cool parts about getting into the golf industry too, right? So you get into this industry, you have this great support system, you got great mentors, people are going to help you out and help you progress through your career. I wouldn't be here today without Tim Freeze, without Jeff Meadis, without some of these guys that I know locally that have helped me get to where I am, because they've made me a better golf professional, and we make each other better teachers. And it's such a really great fraternity. I always say fraternity, sorority to be a part of. It's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. One of the things the PGA helps us with is our annual Duster Challenge, our 10th edition on July 24th. It'll be right here at Glen Oak, and registration is open. You can go to dusterchallenge.com and you can sign up and you can register to play. $49 gets you in, part of the 18-hole putting contest. You hope you advance into the match play format, but it also gets you dinner from Peter Gourmet. Callaway's going to be providing golf balls. We've got a whole bunch of other great prizes and things that you can get on 50/50 as well. You can also donate too, even if you can't be there that night. There's a tab where you can get in on 50/50 raffles. You don't have to be in person for that. So again, dusterchallenge.com. We're really excited to be back for our 10th edition as we raise money for PGA Hope. Jeff, I know a cause that all PGA professionals across the country have really, really bought into. And I guess, I'm curious for you and Chris here, just to maybe tell everybody another story about just the rewarding piece of being a part of that PGA Hope program.
Well, teaching kids is obviously rewarding, but teaching these veterans has been one of the most rewarding things I've done over the last 12, 14 years, whenever we started in 2012. And it serves such a good purpose, and socialization, proprioception. I mean, just a million things that are so great about golf. When you introduce it to a group that didn't think they'd have access to a game like that, and then we create an access point, and then once they go through 6 weeks of lessons with PGA professionals, any veteran, any active duty military can sign up. Then they get put into what we call Got Your Six, which is another program. They played at the Country Club of Buffalo the other day. So we have programs and things, and all we're trying to do is grow the game in every facet. And obviously, be the veterans, I'm particularly sensitive to that area, and we just want to keep it growing. And I'm happy that the Duster can contribute to allowing this to happen.
Yeah, the two kart drivers we had for our radio team in New Orleans, father son veterans who are part of the whole program in New Orleans, and the father is moving back to his home state of New Mexico, and he goes, I'm going to start a chapter there. I've already reached out to some pros, like who wants to get it going, and JP Lone, who's from Western New York, goes around and trains everybody.
Yep.
Nice. So shout out to you, JP, and it's just an amazing program. And so I see it around the country at the different PGA Tour events. These guys volunteer to work at the events. They want to give back to those who've given them, which the game of golf has done.
Yeah, it's a circle, isn't it? Yeah. Golf's a great game.
So that's July 24th. And then a month later, August 24th, is the Western New York Open. Jeff, can you maybe talk a little bit about that, what that event is?
Everybody can compete in the Western New York Open. I think there's a handicap limit to register, but it's not that low. And you get to compete against the PGA professionals in the area. You play from the same tees. You play here at Glen Oak, I believe. The courses, they'll get the greens fast. This is good Robert Trent Jones golf course. It's just a really fun tournament that we get to compete on a level par with some of the best amateurs in the area. And believe me, there's some amateurs around here that can really, really play golf.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So Duster, put it on your calendar, July 24th. And if you want to compete in the Western New York Open here at Glen Oak, August 24th as well. DusterChallenge.com to sign up. Chris, you want to stick with us? Talk a little PGA Championship for another segment?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Chris Kalinske from the PGA of America, Director of Recruiting. He's going to stick with us here for another segment. We'll talk about the PGA Championship when we return. You had some interest in what Chris was talking about. MakeGolfYourCareer.org is the website. If you want to find out maybe who's the PGA professional in your area, go to PGA.com and you can go where the listens is, type in your zip code, and it'll give you some great options of PGA professionals in your area. Okay, time out here from the Western New York PGA headquarters. When we come back, more on the PGA Championship. We'll talk a little bit about being on time for your tee time here when we return here and how it cost one player dearly. PGA Championship talk when we return here. Live from the West New York PGA headquarters with Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro Jeff Meadus. I'm Brian Koziel. More Tee2Green coming up right after this on WGR and on our video stream at Tee2G Buffalo. All right, that's Garrick Higo. He was late to his first round tee time by seconds, apparently. Was assessed a 2-stroke penalty. Played yesterday, played well. I'm sorry, 2 days ago. That was Thursday. Then played yesterday, not as well. He ended up at +5, which unfortunately is 1 shot short. He was at +5. The cut was +4. So that 2-stroke penalty, Kevin Sylvester, was pretty costly for Mr. Higo.
It's amazing how those things happen, right?
Yes, that it's right on the number like that.
Yeah, right on the number like that. Listen, your job is to be early. If you're not early, you're late, right? My job's not to be 10 minutes early. No, but 5, yes. And you wouldn't have your watch. That's your fault. It's his fault. 100% his fault. You can say, he was saying also, well, I was there at 18:30, so it was within the minute. No, it's when the clock strikes there, and away you go. So it's 100% his fault. It is his job to be on time, like any job, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the story.
We all play golf. We all know the rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a professional. What's the first thing you have to do? Be on time. Yeah. At your club, you can't be late. When you make a tee time here in Glen Oak, you can't be late. Yeah. That's golf. That was a weak excuse, I thought. Yeah.
He rattled off about 5 or 6 different things. It just sounded like
all he needed to say was, I was late. I was assessed a 2-stroke penalty. I understand. It's my fault. Yeah. End of story. Stop arguing your case. I
like if I thought I was going to be late, I wouldn't have been late. Well, that's a really weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So Higo won't be playing the weekend. He missed it by 1.
Let me ask you this question though.
Yeah.
But all right. On the other flip side of that, is 2 strokes too penal?
No.
As 1 stroke.
The rules are the rules. They're set.
I understand.
If it was 1, he's playing today.
But I'm saying, like, wow, it's 2 strokes for being late.
Well, there's a rhythm. There's a method to the madness with strokes and penalties, right? So, and that's part of it. Yeah, it's 1 or 2. There's no 3-shot penalties, right? So,
I'm just saying, why is it 2?
Because you want it to be penal if you're late to the tee.
Okay,
yeah, don't be late.
Extra emphasis.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the simplest thing you do. Like that's you're going to get penalty strokes for hitting bad shots. You shouldn't get a penalty stroke for being late. But if you're that careless, it's 2. Yeah, you get DQ'd if they go further. So yeah, there's
I understand.
Yeah,
and now had they teed off without him,
I'd have to double check. I think
like how late can you be?
I think if they've hit their second shot, you're done.
Yes, I think that is correct.
Yeah. So
he could, if they're still out walking to their ball, then he could hit and
I believe that's the rule. Yes, they've changed a little bit over the years, but yeah.
All right. So no Higo. As we welcome you back here, by the way. We're at the Western PGA headquarters, 2-hour edition because of the PGA Championship. So Tim Freeze, who has been on the tee this week,
he's not late.
Tim will give us a little bit about the situation and maybe give us a little of his opinion on maybe how that played out. So he misses it on the number. Michael Block, we've been following him, PGA professional. He misses it at +5. Patia misses it at +5. Henley misses at +5. McIntyre, Fleetwood, all at +5. Wyndham Clark +5. So a lot of well-known names at +5 that just missed it by 1 shot. If I scroll all the way, Kevin, you see me scrolling on the phone
yes,
here, I'm going all the way to 100 and whatever. And there's Bryson. He had a rough go at it here, +7. He's hitting it all over the place.
Yeah, well, print your own irons, and that's what happens. I'm just saying. Why don't you leave it up to the rocket scientists who come up with golf clubs? The companies do a fantastic job.
The engineers who get in the golf industry to create golf equipment. Yes.
I know he's a very bright. Bryson's very bright and brilliant. If you want to, even I will use that. But dude, you're not better than Callaway or Tyler. You're just not.
He was 156 out of 156 as far as strokes gained around the green. So
yeah. Well, I think part of that too is he pouts. He's a pouter. And you guys, as professionals, know you don't teach your students to pout. If you hit a bad shot, accept it and move on. He didn't accept anything. He was pouting. He marches. He doesn't look like he's enjoying his vocation whatsoever. And he wears it on his sleeve. And I just think it compounds. Things aren't going his way. Well, woe was me. And he's going to hit bad shot after bad shot. Amplified for the theater of it, right? Is Bryson a golfer now, or is he a YouTube artist? Like, what is he?
Yeah, he perceives himself an entertainer. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I think that was just all part of it. If I'm going to play poor, I'm going to put on a show and let people think, well, how did you see Bryson? We're talking about him because he wants himself to be talked about.
Yep. Well, he got that for the first 2 days. Not anymore, though.
And you know what? The championship isn't going to miss him this weekend. We're not going to miss him.
Yeah. It's a lot of big names that are now up at the top. Chris, how about just some of these names that are just off the lead? Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Cam Young, all at -2. So, and they're just only 2 back with 2 rounds to go. There's plenty of time for these guys to get themselves to with a chance to win.
Well, if you look at everybody who's within 6 or 7 shots, right? Like, it's incredible leaderboard. It's going to be a great weekend, right?
Yeah.
The PGA Championship's going to have some great theater. It's going to be amazing to watch. And I think you're going to see the cream rise to the top.
You were there this week, Chris.
Yeah. It was, we do a cool event where we talk about engineers. I have the chief engineer of TaylorMade and their woods department come talk to kids and people about it. And then, we had a really cool moment. We're there on Saturday, right before the tournament starts. And we've got 150 people in the grandstand on the 18th hole. And they're like, hey, who's that guy over there? Well, it was Shane Lowry. He was practicing, right? He was getting a practice round in. And, we don't want to bug these guys. They're practicing on the golf course. I've got 150 people, and we don't have the course roped off completely yet. And, there's a walkway to the 18th green, and I've got 20 kids going out there talking to Mr. Lowry. I go to this caddy. I said, hey, is Shane going to be okay with this? I'm freaking out, right? So, and he was great. Shane Lowry was a class act, took pictures, shook hands. Just so I have a soft spot now for Shane. Like, he did a great job. But yeah, we want to talk about a great golf course, great setup. I do think you're going to see some good scores this weekend. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff? Maybe 11 under, 10 under?
I don't see it getting that low.
Not that low?
Yeah,
all right.
I think 8-ish. That's what I think. The winner's going to be 5 to 8. I think because the course is going to be hard. I know the fields are getting a little smaller now, but it's hard, and I think they like when it's tough, and they want to keep the score in a certain range. I know they set the pins a little easier today.
Yeah, those comments, right, made by Scheffler and a couple other guys, that gets, but we've got the best in the business in Kerry Haig and his team setting that golf course up. So I think you're going to see some scores. I'm going to go 9. That's my guess.
Par 70s, you don't get too low. I think
that's true.
2 less par 5.
It's less 5, less opportunities for birdies and eagles. Yeah.
So typically, and Dennis Paulson, my colleague in PGA Tour Radio, looked at all these, at least on the PGA Tour throughout the year. Round 1 was usually the longest the golf course will play. Round 3 is the shortest it'll play.
They want the Saturday moving day.
They want the Saturday drama to move here. So that's your typical. Now, I'm not saying Haig set it up that way today, but that's typically the formula these players are used to for the Chase Pack. I will also say Scheffler, Young, Thomas, Matsuyama, they're more comfortable where they are than Alex Smalley and Ultra Potgieter are where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Potgieter's won, but I'm just telling you, in a major, to be that final group out on a Saturday, that's a different animal for these guys.
And another cool thing, the PGA Professional there has got West New York ties. Yeah.
So he's Ben Kern, right? Like, Smalley. You're talking about Smalley and the pro,
the head professional.
Yeah, the head professional at Aronimink has got Western New York ties. Jeff Kitty, and he was our national professional of the year.
He's from Rochester.
Yeah, he's worked at Monroe. I think he's done a couple of things there. So, great guy.
Yep.
Philly's got some great tracks in that area.
There are so many good golf courses, the topography of the land, and it's older, so that this is a Donald Ross course.
Yeah.
There's a million Donald Ross courses around there. It is a great place to play
Aronimink, there's Pine Valley, Marion, Rolling Green. They had a women's US. I played that once.
Philadelphia Country Club. Pros.
Local pro.
Assistant.
Yeah. Great guy.
Yep. The guy from Rolling Green, maybe it's the guy was from Buffalo when we were there in the playoffs. Sabres Flyers. So that was my job. The upper management said, "Hey, we got an off day, Kevin. Get us on a golf course." So I looked up and Rolling Green. Okay, we're going to go there.
A lot of great golf courses, and Aronimink's classic old school Donald Ross. Fun to watch this weekend.
Yeah.
Chris, thanks so much for sticking around with us an extra segment. Again, you want to maybe just pass along information if there's a parent listening, maybe that thinks, "Hey, I got a son or a daughter that just is obsessed with golf. How do I maybe get them involved either in golf themselves or maybe that career path that you talked about?"
Yeah, absolutely. So again, makeoffyourcareer.org. You can also, I'm a local guy, so been around here my whole life. Don't mind taking, meeting parents, grabbing a cup of coffee, talking to them. C. Kulinski, KULINSKI at PGAHQ.com is my email. Reach out to me. I'll get back to you and we can definitely answer any questions you may have. But It's a great industry to work in. Son, daughters, whoever's interested, there's a lot of opportunity, especially for these kids to get in right now. There's going to be so many great jobs available coming up, and whatever their passion is, they can do it in the golf industry, and that's really fun.
Awesome. Chris, keep up the good work. Appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate it today, guys.
All right. Chris Kalinsky, the PGA of America Director of Recruiting, and we'll pass along the information again throughout the show, but makegolfyourcareer.org is the website, and all the great work that the PGA pros here across Western New York do. We highlight it every week. We'll continue to do so here on Tee2Green. Okay, timeout. When we come back, a quick check-in with Ryan Hasenauer from Batavia Downs, the Preakness today, and we'll update you on our fantasy golf standings. Kevin, I'm super excited about this because where I'm sitting. I'll tell you next segment.
Oh, you just jinxed it. You're done.
Oh, jeez.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. Second hour at 8, Tim Freeze, live from Aronimink and the PGA Championship here as we roll on. Tee2Green from the Western Europe PGA headquarters on WGR. Welcome back. Tee2Green here, live and on the air on WGR. We're at the Western New York PGA headquarters. Big thanks to Chris Kalinske from the PGA of America, Director of Recruiting, joining us last segment. MakeGolfYourCareer.org is the website, or if you want to get in contact with Chris locally, let us know. We'll get in contact with you as well. Okay, you hear the music there, Call to the Post. It's Preakness Week, and of course, one of our Tee2Green Fantasy Golf partners, our friends at Batavia Downs, and Ryan Hasenauer coming in with us here now. Ryan, good morning. Unfortunately, we know the winner of the Derby is not racing today. We know that's always usually a fun storyline coming in here to see if the Triple Crown quest can continue.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer there with the winner not racing, but that's okay. You know, there's still a very full 14-horse field, Brian, which in years past, sometimes it gets as low as like 10 or 11 for the Preakness, but with a full 14 horses today, it's actually pretty awesome because what can happen is the pools get big, right? But a lot of the reason people bet on the horses is to win money. So you want to make sure that you're betting when the pools are big, and the pools will be big today because of a 14-horse field.
And this race, Ryan, is at Saratoga, right? Is this the final year? It's not at Saratoga.
That's the Belmont later.
The Belmont. All right, I got the wrong.
This is the
one.
middle one.
But
all right,
this is the middle one, but this one got moved as well. This one's going to be at Laurel Park. And not at Pimlico. Pimlico is undergoing a huge renovation, so it will be at Laurel Park today, and it'll be the first time in like 100 years that they're going to be running a race at Laurel Park that's a mile and 3/16. They don't usually run at that length at this track, so it should be interesting to see what happens today.
So, Ryan, why would the Derby winner not run in the Preakness? What's the explanation, in your opinion?
Well, the explanation that the trainer gave was that the horse came out of the race well, but they just want to make sure that the horse is doing okay, and it's a 2-week layoff, and you get a full 5 weeks and point the horse at the Belmont, in Saratoga this year. So again, you're trying to respect the horse, and it's it's the long term, longevity in terms of its value too. I'm sure they like to say, they don't like to throw that around, but if this horse loses the Preakness and then doesn't show well for the Belmont, he's a Derby winner. But if he skips the Preakness and wins the Belmont, he won 2 of the 3 legs of the Triple Crown at the breeding shed. Now he can command a much higher price. So that's probably a little bit of a cynical answer, but I think that's really what's at play here.
Golden Tempo, by the way, is the horse that did win the Derby.
Yeah, do you think part of that is because Golden Tempo is a huge upset, and the way that it won, they probably weren't even considering the Belmont, or because they won in the fashion they won, like, okay, let's the Preakness is today. I'm getting them mixed up here because I was thinking of Saratoga. But anyways, Ryan, in the manner in which the Golden Tempo, I think, affected that decision too.
It could be. I think that this just adds more fuel to the fire of people saying that we need to space them out more, and there needs to be something to be said about either making it, I know this sounds crazy, but making it mandatory that if the horse wins one of the races, like they have to race the next race unless there's like truly some sort of an issue. Because, horse racing is obviously not as popular as it once was, and we need all the heroes and, stories we can get. And the story we don't want is that the horse pulled out. So, I think that the industry's got to take a good hard look at itself and make some decisions here moving forward on how they want to play this moving forward to promote the sport.
Does the change in venue make it more difficult to handicap the event, or is that not really a factor when you do this?
Well, it's going to be interesting because, Laurel Park is a very, very small course. Guys, it only fits 4,800 people. So imagine you're going from 100,000 people, because there's a couple of horses that race in the Derby that'll be racing in the Preakness. You've got going from 150,000 people screaming their heads off on the first Saturday in May to literally what people were probably a canal side for the Sabres game the other day. So, it's a huge difference in terms of that. Laurel Park, a dirt track is a dirt track is a dirt track. But again, some horses have familiarity with the track. There's a couple horses in here that actually would be known as like the local horse, the horse that kind of, either grew up or trained actually at Laurel or in the Baltimore area. And therefore with a familiarity with the track, you maybe give them a little bit slight nod, but the horse has to perform, right? There's less horses, which is just going to be less traffic. A couple horses really didn't finish that well in the Derby because there's like 17 other horses out there. Whereas at this race, as long as you break clean, you're probably going to have a pretty good chance to kind of stay around the lead or wherever you need to be. So, with that being said, there's some horses that'll be able to make a break here late at the closing horses to hopefully try to win.
Ryan, last thing here. Well, obviously, I'll be with you from 2 to 5 today on WGR. We can break down more of the horses and all that and your picks. But what's going on at Batavia Downs today, and how can people enjoy the day? I know, obviously, there's even a Sabres game afterwards, so it's going to set up for a nice sports day.
Absolutely. So you can come out to Batavia Downs today. Of course, Thurman's 34 Rush Sports Bars open beginning at 11. All of our OTB branches open at 10 to make those wagers at your local OTB or Easy Bets. You can go to westernotb.com to find a location near you. Of course, we're open 24/7 on BataviaBets.com. But if you're coming out to see me and Brian today, we're going to be inside 34 Rush from 2 to 5. And then at 5 o'clock, I'll be scurrying over to the Park Place Room for tacos and tequila. $30 is going to get you a ticket inside of the Park Place Room. You're going to get $25 back in free play for the gaming floor, $5 wager on the Preakness. So it's basically coming for free if you do the math there. And you're going to get access to a taco bar, and you're going to have, of course, all those tequilas. Probably at least 10 or 12 tequila companies are coming to do tequila sampling. Of course, DJ Hassan's going to be there spinning some tunes. And we'll have various games on throughout the afternoon. I think there's more than a few, games on. I think there's at least college baseball. Of course, we got golf. I got my eye on Ricky Fowler today and Cam. We got to make sure they get in the top 20 to make a bet move for me. And we'll have those on the TVs. And then, when the show is over and the Preakness ends at 7:01, we'll hand everyone over to 34 Rush to watch Game 6.
Awesome. BataviaBets.com, by the way, if you want to make a bet online versus in person, but we'd encourage you to head out to Batavia Downs. Go see Ryan, the Vice President in Business Development at Batavia Downs Gaming, and Ryan will be with me throughout the show.
What are you wearing today, Ryan? What suit you going to wear today?
I think we're going with the pink one today. We got the pink one with the brown accents, so that'll be usually the Preakness one. So I got a new one I'm picking up here in the next couple of days. We'll see if that makes its Belmont debut. But definitely a fan of dressing up for this one. It'll be a good time.
Awesome. All right, Ryan, I'll see you later this afternoon. Appreciate your time, and thanks for the support of our Fantasy Golf League.
I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you later, Brian.
Okay, great. Ryan Hasenauer, the Vice President of Business Development at Batavia Downs. Ryan will be with me to start the show at 2 o'clock today.
You're doing the Triple Crown today. You got golf, horse racing, then hockey. And where are you in our fantasy league?
Well, we have 136 entries.
I see where you are.
And I'm sitting in third, and I took Scheffler this week.
I took Scheffler also this week.
Kudos,
I got hosed, though, because of Knapp coming out of the Cadillac.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He withdrew. I know. That was tough. By the way, Jessica Smith, currently our winner. So currently our leader. So Jessica, you got 2 more weeks to hold on to that. We give a prize at the end of each month. And then if Jessica stays in first, she gets a VIP package from our friends at Batavia Downs. She gets an overnight at the hotel. She gets free play money. She gets restaurant credit.
Jeez.
So all sorts of good stuff. Second place gets rounds here at Glen Oak.
Who did she pick this week, Jessica? Do you know?
Yeah, I can check. Let's see. She picked PGA. She picked Shoffley right there too.
Okay.
She's in there.
She's probably an analytics person.
I know. Foz is in second. Whoever Foz is.
Oh, the great Foz.
That's right. Like that was the week.
Who did Foz pick today? Scheffler?
No, hold on. Let me see who Foz picked here. Foz picked. He picked Shoffley as well.
Okay.
So if Scheffler can win, I can maybe go ahead of these two here.
Okay. You can't win though.
No, I'm ineligible.
So if you're
looking at the standings, right? If you're looking at the standings, if I end up being in first, then 2 and 3.
Where am I because of
Kevin? You're in 71st.
Yeah, because
there you are.
Yeah, because of
the nap that killed you.
Right.
You've had some good picks other than that.
I know I've had good picks, but the nap one killed me.
Metis is a little lower. Blank's doing pretty good too. Okay. Where's he? He's 18th. He's doing a good job. Follow Blank's picks every week, by the way.
Yeah, Blank's bets. Yep.
Blank's bets. Yep. He does forecapping each week, get you the value chart, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Timeout. When we come back, hour 2, Tim Freeze is going to join us live from the PGA Championship. He's at Aronimink. He's been sending me some videos and pictures here this morning.
We got to give you money too to place
our
bets later.
Yeah,
right?
we'll get the Preakness bet going. With Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro Jeff Menas, I'm Brian Koziel. Hour 2, Tee2Green coming up from the West New York PGA headquarters right after this timeout on WGR.
Uh-oh.
With Patrick Harrington. What a good experience that was for him. We'll learn a little bit more about McNeely and Alex Smalley today, see how they can handle the pressure of being in the final group of the PGA Championship from Aronimink Golf Club as we welcome you back. Hour 2 of Tee2Green. Want to thank Chris Kerlinski from the PGA of America, the Director of Recruiting, joining us in the first hour. Also, Ryan Hasenauer, the Vice President of Business Development for Batavia Downs. And now, as we are here from the West New York PGA headquarters at Glen Oak, a spot that we know Tim Freeze is familiar with. Tim, PGA Pro, of course, owner of Glen Oak, and this week working hard at Aronimink Golf Club in Philadelphia. Tim has kind of given us a few minutes here this morning on the lay of the land and what the scene is like there. Tim, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. Meet. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Freeze.
Yeah. We're excited to have you on here, Tim. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing this week. I know lots of different roles with the PGA of America. I know that this is obviously your favorite event, being the PGA Championship.
Yeah, this and the Ryder Cup are two great assets here, and the championship, for whatever is written, it's the golf course is winning so far. I think today will be a different story. Moving day here, so flag positions yesterday were critiqued a little bit, but it turns out that I think only one flag was within, double-digit footsteps, let's say. The rest 17 holes were within single footsteps of an edge, where today it's about a half a dozen or a little bit more toward favorable places. But the grounds here, it's beautiful. There's a warm front coming through. Did you see this? We had kind of cold conditions here to start, but this weekend's going to get in the 80s, so it's changing, and the wind changes, so the players are kind of excited for an opportunity here. But the place has been 30, 40,000 folks each day. I'm right here behind 18 green, the practice area I'm looking at, and the putting green. I watched Luke Donald hit a bunch of putts here as he plays the Ryder Cup captain from Europe. Pretty exciting here.
Tim, Scotty Scheffler talked about the pin placements and how challenging they were. I know obviously there's a plan and a map ahead of time for, hey, this is going to be round 1 spot, 2, 3, 4. Was there, the adjustments made, were there any, or do they stick exactly with what it is? Or what do you think maybe the conversation was when you hear the number 1 player in the world make a comment that's saying how tough they were? Like, does the PGA of America want to adjust in any fashion, do you think?
They always talk here of championship conditions, so they really don't talk about green speeds as much. They just talk about the conditions for a championship, and you saw what happened to the field there. Pretty record numbers of players that are within striking distance, so it's anybody's call to what happened. Plus, long hitters, putt guider, you've got different players that are in the mix. But yes, there is adjustments, and Jeff knows Kerry Haig does such a wonderful job. Another guy, Matt Weinberger, they really do a great job setting up, so they do adjust. Absolutely, to playing conditions. It was hard. The flags were kind of tucked a little bit, but you got to hit, let's say, a high cut to 18 yesterday in the back right. Where today it's in the front left with the downwind, and it's going to be hard to hit a high draw for a righty to get even close to that hole. So they test all the players' games. Each par 3 here, like a typical Donald Ross back home at CCB and even at Glen Oak, each par 3 faces a different part of the Cardinal Rose in the wind, and it's different lengths. So they're just challenging you to hit different shots, different curves. It's pretty cool. And Aronimink is held up, even though earlier in the week they were talking about hitting it anywhere in a sense. So that's not the case by evidence of the scores. We're not looking for the lowest scores or even the highest scores. Just test the best in the world and see what comes out at the end.
You're trying to identify the best player. Isn't that the goal? That week.
The best player.
Yep.
Yes, this week. That's exactly right. Not a player, but who can adjust, I would say. And that's each day. And to your point, Brian, about, let's look at what happened yesterday, and then maybe change a few flag positions. I think I sent you the flag positions for today, and then also a picture of them changing the 18th hole. And then we had a wonderful flyover in the Armed Forces Day, 250 years of our country here in Philadelphia, pretty historic. Here, the players love that part of it too.
Hey Tim, I wanted to ask you about the Garrick Hago situation. You've been a first tee starter at the PGA Championship for many years, where you announced the players. Just your thoughts on Higo, and I'm going to say not really taking responsibility for being late.
It wasn't your tee, was it, Freezer?
It was, yes, right. So 1 and 10 are actually, you're on the same pedestal. So I was fortunate to do Thursday and do 1 and 10 for a couple hours there. That was a lot of fun. But sure enough, the rules officials there, and Kevin, good morning as well.
Yeah.
The rules officials are awesome, and they're just watching their watch. And each player is pretty good. They Dustin Johnson, one of my first groups, he was pretty close within 30 seconds. But most players are really good about it. They come down to the tee, but not him. He had some Yogi Berra type comments there about why he may have been late. It was funny how it didn't make much sense. But here he is, and he makes the cut. As a lefty, we watched him come up 18, but you just have to be on time. That's it. It's either out of bounds or it's not. It's very objective. There's no subjectivity. And sure enough, he was late, and the rules official said, "Here's your card, and you got to add 2." And he couldn't even. That's it. You add 2 to your score. That's at the end of the round. It doesn't matter if it's the first hole, but he just didn't take too much responsibility there. Hopefully, he'll never be late again. I think he missed the cut by a shot, didn't he?
Yes, he missed it by a shot. So were you announcing his group?
So I had the quote 10th tee. He was the first tee.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
so we're standing there, but we're all a friend of mine, and we're kind of alternating as we're calling them. So we just watched the melee right there a little bit. It wasn't too bad, but again, the rules official just doing his job, and that's pretty good. That the rules of golf are very objective. I love that part of it.
The one thing that is subjective is the pace of play. People think, and there was some warnings yesterday. I know Justin Thomas's group, who his dad's a PGA professional, and what I said, it's still the rules are the rules, but it is tough to have a pace of play with those kind of conditions.
Well, also, but Justin's argument also was, well, the guys behind us weren't even.
But
they weren't on us.
They weren't on us.
That has no bearing on what your pace of play.
But that was what he was arguing.
Yes.
Yep, you're exactly right. Right, you have to just stay in your position. Doesn't matter, especially when we're playing golf back home. Don't look behind you. Always look ahead. And if you're the first groups out, try to be like a rabbit, we say, right? And then everybody else just stay on that group. And that's we just don't. I don't think as a golf world, we don't really at a tour level. Or Jeff knows even on a college level, it just takes too long. Shot clocks are mentioned. Imagine that. I mean, it worked for baseball. I'm not sure if that'll ever happen in golf. But you're right. You really can't look behind you. Just stay on top of it. But the conditions were hard. They just were difficult when the lies the players were getting and coming into these flag positions. You're out of position on the green, and it's difficult. You saw DeChambeau really struggle there. So I would love it if they did it, but we all know it's tough to enforce pace of play sometimes, and tough to give those shots out. And it's not a money situation. It should be shots, but it just doesn't happen much.
I know how they do it.
Professional golf.
Freezer, on the PGA Tour. Sorry to interrupt. I was curious.
No, that's all right. You're great.
See if they do this at the PGA Championship. So when I just see this on the tour, and I'll go talk to the rules official that's with the group. I'm like, did you just put these guys on the clock? Well, they got a warning, right? And they get a second warning, then they go on the clock. And then what happens is the rules official follows along in a cart and times every player for every shot. They get 45 seconds from when
it's their turn.
When it's their turn to hit the ball. And if they get 2 bad times after that, they get penalized. So
a lot of hoops to jump
There's
through.
a lot of warnings, right? But that's the process that I see happen on the PGA Tour. So when a player, they get warned about pace of play, are they timed like that?
Yes, absolutely. We've got the PGA of America professionals from around the country, and they are on our rules committee, and they are briefed on that. It's one of the tougher ones that they might have to do, but you're exactly right. They are put on the clock. Our group is first, and they're told, but then each player, there's some deliberate players, and then there's players. I love Oberg's routine, just takes a look and hits it. More of that, right? But there really isn't the teeth of the penalty. You just don't see that too much, especially in a major and even on a weekend. Can you imagine? And that's just, there's not many players like in basketball fouling out. It just doesn't happen in golf. I'd like to see that more, but it's going to take 5 hours. We just know this. And TV, the more they're on TV, the more we can watch commercials, the more right. So it's going to take a while. But here for a major championship, if they can stay up to the group ahead of them, and it usually with twosomes, it's not that hard to do.
Right. Tim Freeze, the owner and PGA pro from Glen Oak. He is working this week at the Aronimink Golf Club, the PGA Championship. So, Tim, just take us inside the ropes. You're on the first tee and the 10th, as you said, announcing. I know you've gotten to walk inside the ropes a little there. How about just maybe some interesting interactions you've had this week, or something on the golf course, or something in terms of the competition that you've seen that you want to share?
It's the volunteers. I'll throw that because we did have it at Oak Hill. And if you get a chance, 35, it is coming back to Oak Hill. But if you ever get a chance to volunteer at these things, it's a great experience because you do have a pass that you're inside. And it's just, the access a little bit is just kind of fun. There's not a lot of picture taking, but it's the players, I would say, when I'm on the tee, they're all awesome. They shake your hand. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks a lot. Here's, I'm not from Florida. I'm from the Core Bridge, they call it. Players like myself, PGA professionals that get to play in the field. Super excited to be here. One did make the cut. His name's Ben Kern. It's 6 birdies yesterday, tied for the most, I think, in the field. And he made the cut, and that's amazing. So inside the ropes, the players are pretty cool. The caddies are talkative a little bit to you, which is fun. I get to do this tomorrow, Sunday. I get to start the players, I think 10 to 12 tomorrow, and they mic you up. ESPN mics you up, and it's just kind of fun to experience that. But I would say the players, the interactions, it's entertainment, right? I always say for us at Glen Oak, we're in the smile business here, and inside the ropes, it is fun. They're concentrating. They're trying to work at a hard game here, and it is hard out here. So bogeys are okay once in a while. You can recover, but I would say all those volunteers, everybody that takes a part of this championship, it's just amazing how they pull this off every year and every place we go to. And Kevin has seen that from a tour. It's a traveling roadshow, right, to set this all up. But to do this and all the, let's say, the bunting, the fencing, the security, and they really nailed it this time. Lessons from Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
How do we apply that going forward? So we've seen a lot of that this week.
Tim, tell us a little bit about the golf course, maybe even those that haven't tuned in too much to the first 2 days that now maybe they will watch this weekend. This venue has hosted one major, but it was back in 1962. Gary Player won it. There was a PGA Tour playoff, FedEx Cup playoff event there in 2018. Recently, an LPGA major as well, but maybe not as much familiarity with Aronimink Golf Club. What do you like about it? What should people be watching for?
Yes, if anyone has played at Donald Ross course, and Mr. Donald Ross, back at the turn of the century, designed and was part of maybe 400 golf courses around the country. Amazing. And this is one of them. So if you've had the fortune to play the Country Club Buffalo down in Erie, Pennsylvania, it's the Cocqua Club. And then, of course, in Rochester, there's 5 golf courses that are fantastic that Donald Ross built. And like I mentioned about the par 3s facing different ways, turtleback greens in a sense. He was just known for really a couple of cool things. But here, you tee off high down to a kind of a pit. The land here is unbelievable. He was one of the best at designing courses that in a square space or a rectangle space, in a small space, he could make a routing just beautiful. And how they did that back then, it is amazing. So the greens are the deal out here. It's not super long, but at 7,400 yards, it's plenty long enough. And you see some of the players hitting other shots off the tee, not just driver, just to get themselves in a position. But that would be if somebody played at Donald Ross golf course, like Berkeley and Rochester. It's the same. The Country Club of Rochester, Irondequoit, obviously, and then the Oak Hill. So in Monroe, these are tall greens that sit above you a little bit, tougher to chip around those greens. You have some runoffs, and the players did a lot of practicing. I'm watching them right now on the short game area, just hitting run-up shots, and it's not a wedge every time like we might see around Buffalo a lot. There's a lot of runoff areas. It's just a beautiful big ballpark. And it was in 92. They did schedule it, but there was a diversity problem here at the club, and they couldn't pull off the championship. It went to Crooked Stick, I believe. So it was scheduled to be in 92, but here we are 60 years later at a fantastic golf course. I'll say one more thing. The PGA Championship, it's played 75 different golf courses over 108 years of the championship, and we get to move it around the country, which is really cool. Different than we're all familiar with Augusta. We see the same course where now we give an opportunity for a lot of communities to be a part of a major championship.
It's nice to see the old courses in the Rota too. You know, your Oak Hills and the Northeast courses, and these classic golf courses still can stand up to the best players in the world,
including the 1934 PGA Championship at Park Country Club.
Correct,
right
run
down the
by
road.
Paul Runyon, if I'm not mistaken. Long
He
time
did.
ago.
He defeated Craig Wood.
Yeah.
Back that was when it went to match play.
Freezer was third that year. Yeah.
Wow.
Uncalled for. Come on here, Jeff.
Hey, Freezer, say hi to Jeff Kitty too for me while you're down there. Good guy, great PGA professional.
Jeff, that's exactly right. So Jeff Kitty down here for 20 years, and what a good guy and a great golf professional. He was from the Western New York area. He was my rules official when I was starting on Thursday. So just to spend a couple hours with Jeff down there, and he was a little nervous on a few players that were a little late to the tee. He didn't have to make the call on Gary Cahill, but Larry Starzl, he's been with the PGA now 40-something years, golf professional, and he had to make that call, which was kind of easy for him. Doesn't matter if you're 5 seconds late or a minute late. Yeah, he made the call. But Jeff, I spent a lot of time with him. What a great guy. And to be the head professional here and also a rules official at the same time, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right, Tim, we'll let you go on this. Who's going to host the Wanamaker Trophy on Sunday night?
We're not prognosticators. In fact, I see some of the events here. We don't get to see a lot of the leaderboards or what people are saying, but watching people hit balls here, watching the players, I'm going to go with Harris English a little bit there. I kind of like his game right now. A lot of birdies late yesterday. Oberg, a lot of birdies late. So I'm going to go with that. How about that?
Okay. We'll give you those two, English and Oberg.
He seems to do well in majors, Harris English. He seems to be up there all the time.
He's got smooth swinger, good putter. There's a lot to like about Harris English.
Yeah, he is at -2 in that big group of two that we mentioned with Scheffler, Thomas, and Young, and Oberg as well. Tim, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay.
You guys are the best. Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate all you guys and what you do for Western New York and golf, and just the opportunity to be down here and watch this is, again, if anybody's got an opportunity to go to an event, throw your hat in the ring and participate. It is fun, and Kevin sees that inside the ropes and what he does as well. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you on TV tomorrow, Freezer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thanks. Tim Freeze with us, the owner and PGA Pro from Glen Oak. Next year, the PGA Championship is at Frisco, which is in Texas.
Right? Yeah,
and that's the big PGA facility, right? That they built
just recently. Yeah, it's our new facility down there. It is really cool to be the starter. I mean, Kev, you've been inside the ropes for years and years, but to be a starter on the first tee at a major championship, I've been able to do it, and to be on the range with the players. Just watching the best players in the world from 6 feet away with a track man behind them and listening to their coach them up and picking their brains. Yeah, it's a great week to be around a golf tournament.
I love the starters. The different events might be somebody with some great personality, like at the Cadillac Championship. There was a starter there, a woman. She was awesome, like just the enthusiasm she puts into it. And then you have sometimes one of my all-time favorites, and it was a blooper. This is at the Phoenix Open. The guy said Brooks Cupcake. I don't know if someone put him up to it. Someone had to have, right? So, here
they give you a sheet with the pronunciation.
Yes. I'm just saying, but somebody must have just you know what? Let's another player. Yeah, here's a C note. Say Cupcake.
Yeah, my favorite moment of the announcing is the one, and I think it's from the Tour Championship from early 2000s. It's a lady doing it, and it's Woods and Mickelson are paired together, and she's rattling off, now on the tee, the 2005 U.S. Open champion, the 2005 PGA champion, the 2005 Players champion, and then after she gets to the 6th or the 7th, Mickelson goes, all right, a number, and Tiger is the big grin and everything, and everybody's chuckling and laughing.
By the way, speaking of Tiger, you see he's back from his rehabilitation stint in Switzerland. There was photos of the plane landing. So now, we'll see what happens with the legal process here, but Tiger Woods in the news this week, from returning there. He looked good, right? On those plane photos. He looked like he's walking better, didn't he? So hopefully he got the help he needed, and he'll continue, on what we're all to assume is a healthier path for him.
Yeah. We all want that.
Yeah.
Of course, we all want him to see him on the golf course, but he has so much that he can provide to golf in a positive manner if he even can just be around the game and have that positive influence.
Look on a human level. He's got 2 children, right?
Yeah, you want him to be healthy for that.
Yes,
to start with.
Absolutely. So hopefully, physically and mentally, he's better. And then we'll see what the legal process it takes here. So
yeah, if there's something,
we should mention that Tiger in the news.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Tim mentioned a few names there, English and Oberg, who are at -2. Kevin, this is where we turn to you here.
Okay, sure.
No, because there are some names at the top that I'll say maybe for the golfer that isn't the hardcore. I tune in every single week to the PGA Tour event that they may not know as much about. So I know you mentioned a little about Smalley.
Great swing. He's
earlier.
From Duke. He finished tied for runner-up in the New Orleans event. Good player. I don't know that he is battle tested. If you will. So this I think this is going to be a challenging round.
Would you relate it to like Stanley Cup playoffs? Like they say, it's hard to get through the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to win your first major when it's your first chance to win.
Like when you're going split tees and threes, that's one thing. But now you've got all day. You're in that final group of a major, and ahead of you, there are winners ahead of you, and there's gonna be roars. When birdies are made. So he's playing with Mav McNeely too. Mav's a really good putter. That's what he's known for, being a good putter. He's a little more battle tested, in my opinion, than Alex Smalley.
Okay, and then Matsuyama, of course, we know his resume for sure. Masters winner. He's tied for 3. He's in the second last group with Chris Gotterup, who hits the ball a mile, right?
Gotterup is Gotterup's familiar with the turf. He grew up in New Jersey, so we shouldn't be surprised that he's playing well in this area of the country.
And he's the longest hitter on tour.
Oh my God!
Right?
He hits that much like Gary Woodland, that little low
flat fade.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a special player. He won twice this year.
Yeah, great athlete.
Potgieter kind of came on the scene, South African player, and he'll be in the third last group today. He's one off the lead.
So he pounds the golf ball. To me, he's a lot like Dustin Johnson in that. Remember, DJ just hit the ball so damn far, but he didn't have any wedge game. That's Potgieter, in my opinion.
Minwoo Lee amongst the group at 3. Max Greiserman at -3. He's a Duke as well.
Minwoo Lee,
right?
I like watching him play golf. I mean, just watching him play golf is cool.
He can send it. He has the short game.
Yeah,
Minwoo Lee. To me, he's a player to look out for. As you're talking about, maybe the players that you're not as familiar with.
He's young, right?
Yeah, Minwoo's long, like mid-20s. Max Greiserman, also a really good young player. I like Greiserman a lot.
Yeah. And then a lot of the monster names are sitting there at -2. We mentioned Scheffler, Thomas, Young, who, by the way, this week he's 3rd in the world. I mean, he has really had a great. I mean,
Cam?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If the Player of the Year award is being presented today, he's the winner, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's been really
easily.
Good. Yeah.
I think those guys are going to rise here. Young, Thomas, Scheffler. It's easier to play from behind, and these guys know they'll know when to hit the gas and when not to hit the gas today.
Yeah, they played in a lot of majors too.
Scheffler's in a comfortable spot here.
He's comfortable everywhere.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
He always crescendos. He's in a comfortable spot. He's in a much better position than he's been all season long. His last 3 starts have been solo seconds where he's had to come from way behind. Doesn't have to come from way behind this weekend. To me, this is still Scheffler's.
Plus, I think Scheffler, because his distance control is so good, and if he's in the fairways, he controls his yardages better than anybody. And his spin. You've seen a lot of players having trouble controlling their spin, and it's hard to get to these pins because they're so firm and fast.
John Rahm is also at -1. He's a guy whose game has not really translated great from Live to majors. Once in a while here and there. And then Cam Smith, also same story, I guess, probably even worse. His game is not translated to majors. We know what a putter he is. He's at even par. So there's 2 names that obviously people are familiar with that could be in the mix as well here going into the weekend.
It's interesting. Cam Smith, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was, I don't know. He was asked about, people think I didn't care. I took the money and did. He's like, that's the exact opposite. I'm working harder than ever, to get my game back.
Yeah.
Like it happens with players. They lose their game. I think with Rahm, he was embroiled with the DP World Tour. I think he's settled with the DP World Tour. The weight's been lifted off of Rahm.
Now he can be in the Ryder Cup officially.
This Live thing, like, okay, well, I'm going to go play DP World Tour. It's fine. Like, so there's some clarity for John Rahm, more so than there was when it just seemed all this off the course stuff was he was dealing with. I think some of that's gone. Certainly there's, what's going, listen, we all know what's happening with Liv. It's going away. That's clear, and you can't tell me Koepka and Reed didn't know it ahead of time. They knew something was happening.
Yeah, and Koepka's doing all right this week.
Yes,
and I
he's
always
still going with that mallet putter, Jeff. Though, like he's
struggling.
Wasn't
putting.
he dead last in putting, or like 127th in putting?
And his statistics in terms of the strokes gained approach was incredible.
Yes,
like he was setting himself. He should have been in the lead if his putter was even just average.
I just can't believe he's sticking with it.
He's +1, as is McIlroy, as is Schauffele and Spieth and Fowler.
I thought for sure that Scotty Cameron would come back out that blade for Koepka.
Yeah, I don't know about you don't know what's going through his head. He might feel like he's hitting putts. They're just not going in.
Yeah,
right? You could do that too. But
look at those groups at 1. You've got Fowler, Schauffele, Koepka, McIlroy, Spieth, and Thigala, and Morikawa, and Connors, all at 1.
It's a tight lead.
+1.
There's a lot of people near the lead. It's not
those
spread out.
Those are tied for 30th. So I mean, you've got 43 golfers within 5.
It's gonna be a great day.
Yeah,
43 golfers within 5.
Right.
Cool.
And a ton of huge names.
How about the sports day at Buffalo, right? We got the PGA.
Well,
Well, first of all, it's going to be nice. You can go out and play golf this morning.
Well, it starts with Tee2Green.
Starts with
right now.
Clearly, right? And we're touching on everything.
That's how we get the sports day going.
So you're going to play golf today. Then you're going to watch golf. Then you're going to watch the Preakness or go and get tacos and tequila with Cozy out there at Batavia.
That's going to, by the way, the race itself is around 7, which is right at the end of the golf.
All right, yeah. So golf ends. Preakness.
Yep.
You're going to watch the horse race.
Sabres.
And then we're going to pray for the Sabres to win and force a game 7.
So, Brian, you'll get off of work about what time tonight?
Probably around midnight. Yeah.
All right.
And some throughway time.
By the way, what do we think tonight with the Sabres? What do you think tonight with the Sabres?
They have to play discipline. Both games at the Bell Center, they have been in the penalty box way too much.
Yeah, the Canadians' uniform is Speedo and a jersey.
Yes.
They are divers. It's awful.
The atmosphere up there
is awful.
Could probably lend to when you're frustrated that maybe the extracurricular stuff you end up doing things like taking the extra, interference or roughing or undisciplined penalty. So I can see why it is. I mean, it's a very tough
cross check to the face.
But look at even in the home game, they only took 2 penalties, but it's Thompson and Dahlin.
Yep.
Guess who took the most penalties in the 2 games in the Bell Center? Thompson and Dahlin.
Yep.
They've got to. Those guys have to stay out of the box themselves. They obviously are very important to be on the ice alone. But I mean, just to me, I know yesterday quite a bit on WGR that everybody was talking about, is Thompson hurt? Is he, is there something wrong? The moment of that game to me where it swung, that first period is so entertaining. It's back and forth. They're up 3-2, but they are playing the game they want to play. And they start out in the second period going, and then Thompson gets the clear breakaway, a chance to go up 4-2. And Dobish was a mess in the first, and maybe he gets pulled here if Thompson scores. They go up 4-2. Instead, he makes the save. Montreal's able to tie it, and then they were definitely the better team the rest of the way.
Listen, you're right, and I tweeted this out. Like Lindy has no more. Lindy's played all his cards, in my opinion. All the like to change goalies. He injected a veteran. He got the kid in the lineup to inject some speed.
And for the most part, all that is work.
It's all work, but he's out of cards now. The only thing that's left is your best players have to be the best players. Your Norris Trophy candidate has to be the best defenseman tonight on the ice in Dahlin. Your Olympic gold medalist has to play like an Olympic gold medalist. He's got to channel it tonight. It's got to happen. Tuck, you want $12 million this summer? You got to play like it tonight and then on Monday. That's the only way they win this game, period.
Yep. No points for Tuck.
In my opinion. I mean, now listen, Lyon can go out there and steal a game like Luukkonen did in game number 5, but you can't count on that. You can't.
Yep.
Your guys have to be the guys.
Well said. We'll leave it at that. All right. We're live here at the Western New York PGA headquarters. Thanks to Tim Freeze from Glen Oak for joining us last segment. PGA Championship with the leaders today is at the final group, 240, with Alex Smalley and Maverick McNeely. Okay, time out here. When we come back, we'll get Jeff Meadis with his Western New York PGA tip of the week as we roll on here. 2-hour edition of Tee2Green. Thanks for being with us, along with Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro, Jeff Meadis. I'm Brian Coleshill. Evan DePasquale producing on the radio side. Jeff Blank producing on the TV video stream side at Tee2G Buffalo. If you're watching on the stream, you can see Kevin.
It's playing my jam,
little
man.
dancing.
A little tricky.
More Tee2Green coming up from the Western New York PGA headquarters after this time.
Loop going, Jeff?
Yeah, please stop dancing.
Welcome back, Tee2Green. We're in hour number 2 for the PGA Championship, and it is time for our Western New York PGA Tip of the Week. Brought to you by the Western New York PGA, westernnewyork.pga.com. If you want to get involved in the game, you can get yourself a lesson, find out where your nearest PGA pro is. You can sign up your son or daughter for drive, chip, and putt. It's free. PGA Junior League information there, Junior Tour information there as well. And also, if you want to be a part of maybe helping out PGA Hope, we would encourage you to sign up for our 10th annual or 10th edition of the Duster Challenge. DusterChallenge.com. Get you in $49 donation, and you're in for the putting contest. 18 holes at least, maybe make the cut. You're even more. And dinner as well.
Making the cut there is huge.
Peter Gourmet. That's right. We had over 100 players last year, and we cut it to 16.
Yes.
It's a little tougher cut to make than the PGA Championship.
There are, by the way, you can also enter a 50-50 raffle. Or you can make a donation if you just want to make a donation online. We've got a specific goal that we want to hit this year in our 10th year. Intent, that's our goal. Yes. So we need your help to do so. We appreciate consideration for that. DusterChallenge.com.
All right, that's the website. Okay, tip of the week. Chance to get out and play this week. Finally, the weather seems to be cooperating, but it is still maybe a little soggy out there or a little wet at times. You might get some mud on your ball, and depending upon how you're playing it, it's always good to get tips on all conditions. So maybe if you look down and there is a little bit mud on your ball, Jeff, what's going to happen to it when you make contact?
Say good luck. Yeah. It's difficult to judge a mud ball. There are some theories out there. If it's on the left side of your ball, it may curve right. If it's on the right side of your ball, it may curve left. Those are some general guidelines. It doesn't seem to make sense in the physics, right? But it slows down the rotation of the golf ball on one side and will add to the curve. So if you're predisposed to curve it in a certain direction, you want to factor that in. Now, if it's on the front or the back of the ball, that's a little difficult too sometimes, because that mud will get between the ball and the club face sometimes and cause the ball to spin awkwardly as it get in the air. One thing I always try to tell people if they have a mud ball and they ask me is just, I try not to take a full swing. I try to bunt the ball and flight it a little bit lower. Anything I can do to try to take some of the spin off the ball when the ball's in the air, because that mud on the ball is affecting the spin of the golf ball and making it not fly true. So you can mitigate your risk if you keep it a little bit lower, maybe even try to run it up on the green as opposed to fly it on the green if you have that opportunity. Or I would aim for a more conservative target also. Factoring in what you think the ball might do, but middle of the green is a real nice target at that point, instead of, if you got a wedge in your hand or something like that and you're used to trying to aim right at the pin, I would aim on the safer side of things to keep the ball in play a little bit more.
Jeff, what if there's not mud on the ball, but it's in a softer turf area, not casual water, but you can feel the ground's a little softer,
a little bit spongy?
Yeah. How do you hit that?
I try to come in. You want to make clean contact, obviously, because when the turf's not firm underneath, sometimes if you get a little bit behind it, the club will want to dig and stick. Especially if you're not using a wedge with some kind of bounce on it. If you're using a longer club that doesn't have as much bounce on it, so I try to maybe move it back a pinch, and I try to come in a tiny bit shallower, so my angle of attack is a little less steep, and just try to make really good clean contact. I visualize the ball hitting the center of the blade and flying properly, but I do try to make some adjustment to ensure I hit the ball first.
And we just mentioned mud. If you look down and the ball is maybe wet, if you see, water droplets on the ball or things like that, what does that do?
Well, that's why you want your grooves clean. I'm sometimes the worst candidate because I don't always, but that's when you make sure your grooves are clean. Those grooves are there to disperse the water off the golf ball once it hits your face. And if you get too much water on the golf ball or between the club face and the ball, that's your flyers, right? So you can catch a little bit of a jumper or a juicy shot because it does take some of the spin off. We had our own Jeff Blank come into the GolfDojo and use the TrackMan and spray water on the golf balls that day to check. And there is an effect on the spin rate. There's a definite effect on the spin rate with a wet golf ball.
All right, good information.
20% loss of spin.
20% loss of spin. That's right.
That's what we calculated.
Wow.
And that was scientific. I watched you do it.
Yeah. No, it's good to know. I mean, if you're trying to be a little bit more precise with your game, these are all things to take into consideration. I mean, we talk about, you check the lie, you check the wind, the pin place, all these sort of things, but these other things that are all factoring in.
And having a bad attitude about it or whining about it isn't going to help. Like we talked about some of these players.
DeChambeau.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's part of the game. You're going to get a bad lie. It's not a perfect, because you hit it in the fairway you can't expect perfect every time. That's not how golf works, unfortunately.
By the way, do we like his commercial where he's going to go beat the alien with a 9-iron?
Is that what he was doing in that commercial?
Yeah. Is that okay? I mean, it's a little.
I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow.
A little aggressive.
Yeah. I was like,
a little weird.
Really?
Weird.
Man. Yeah.
I'd fire that advertising company.
Yeah, that was bad. Okay.
Hey, we were talking last segment with Tim Freeze, and he was saying about, hey, get out to watch one of these events in person. There's a ton of value in seeing it. The Canadian Open is drivable distance this year. I know the U.S. Open, even though it's in New York, might be the toughest drive. It's Shinnecock. It's all the way out on the edge of Long Island. But the Canadian Open is in Toronto. Kev, for those I know.
Well, there's one before that too. You could drive to Memorial in Columbus. And
the Rocket Classic's not that bad of a drive either. Right?
And Rocket in Detroit, that's in the summer. But so you have Memorial at Jack's Place. It's great. Muirfield Village, awesome. TPC Toronto. It's I want to say it's west of the city.
Yeah,
maybe northwest. It's out there. So I would recommend this. Plan ahead. Give yourself plenty of time to get there. I think they figured out their parking issues. Round 1 last year, they did not have it organized because it's a new venue and it was dirt roads.
It was there last year, though.
Yeah, dirt roads. Unbelievable property, though. Let me tell you, it is. And bring comfortable walking shoes because it is a walking property. But it's a cool venue. TBC. It's actually they built it. It'd be actually a fun golf trip to do because they have cabins on site. They've got a couple different courses. You're kind of out and it's secluded.
Yeah, and it's cool for people if you've never been to a tour event just to see actually how good these guys are. The sounds that the shots make, like when we go to the Porter Cup every year, those guys are really good players, hit it really fair. The sound is different. Chris Kalinsky was talking earlier about as an instructor, you can tell a lot by the sound of a golf ball. If you go to Mr. Vokey for a wedge fitting, he sometimes turns your back just to listen to what the bounce is doing. And then you're on a tour event and you watch Adam Potgieter. How do you say his name?
Aldrich Potgieter.
Aldrich Potgieter. It sounds different when that guy roasts a golf ball.
Yes.
And watching them on the range and just seeing how good they are around the greens. That's what I always watch the major championships for, the short games and how good these guys really are. And it's worth the trip and it's worth the day and it's an experience. If you haven't had it, take your kids, grab someone and go. It's a really fun day.
And my advice, if the golfers are offline, meaning outside the ropes with a tee ball, stand behind them.
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah.
Wyndham Clark hit a cameraman, like at the edge of the camera, and thankfully that's what he hit.
Luckily, he hit that.
Hit the camera.
Yeah.
If the camera's not there, that's hitting him in the head.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best players in the world. So don't trust anybody. He's one of the best. He's on tour.
Yeah. No, I mean just
not this year.
I think going in the event is great, and also too, if you're taking a small child too. Obviously it's great if you can follow Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy, but it is so spread out over 18 holes, Kevin.
Yes.
If you want to get your kid like right on the rope, right there on the tee, like you can do it. If you spread out and maybe find, if you're finding a group that doesn't have Rory McIlroy in it, you can do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And tee boxes are a great spot.
Then you get to hear the caddy and the player talk too.
Yeah, and like the walk from the green to the next tee, like that. So that's where you want your kid to hang out. It might get a little fist bump.
Yeah.
They don't sign, by the way, during rounds.
That's a rule.
Yeah, I know. I just want to tell all these parents, like they're not going to sign. They have designated area for the kids to get autographs. Players aren't signing during the round. They're not giving your glove during the round unless they hit you. Like. These things aren't happening.
Yeah. Well, they discourage it from signing because they don't want to slow up play, right?
Correct. Yes.
Especially because if you sign one, then the horde comes right.
Correct.
Yes. No, makes sense. All right, timeout here. Our last timeout. When we come back, we'll get our check of the PGA Tour leaderboard. We've been talking about the PGA Championship. We'll run it down one more time. Champions report, LPGA report, all coming up, and then our picks of who we think was going to be the champ come Sunday at the PGA Championship. With Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro Jeff Metis, I'm Brian Colziel, Evan DePasquale producing on the radio side, Jeff Blank on our stream. Check out our stream Brought to you by Golf Dojo, Donald Ross, and NUTRL. We appreciate them as well, supporting our video stream at Tee2G Buffalo. We'll be back with more here from the Western New York PGA headquarters on Tee2Green right after this timeout. Welcome back, Tee2Green, live here at the West New York PGA headquarters as we go through now our check of the leaderboards around the pro scenes in golf. Alex Smalley, Maverick McNeely are your co-leaders. They'll be in the final group today for round 3 at the PGA Championship at 240. A very large group tied for third that includes Masters winner Hideki Matsuyama, and then we've been talking about it all day. The group at 2 under par. This is maybe somebody that could come up and win it by Sunday. Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Cameron Young, Harris English, Ludwig Oberg, all at -2.
And your Champions Tour report is brought to you by Donald Ross Sportswear, your hometown premium golf apparel company. Find us in your local pro shop or online at donaldross.com. And we did have a senior make the cut at the PGA Championship, Padraig Harrington at 3 over.
He was playing with Maverick McNeely. We played that soundbite earlier about how McNeely said he was very helpful on the way here.
All right, our LPGA Tour report is presented by NUTRL. Keep it tasty, Buffalo. The Kroger Queen City Championship. That's in Cincinnati, and there's a bunch of Queen Cities, right? Some people like that. It's here. It's not here. Charlotte also goes by the Queen City. Anyways, in Cincinnati, Amanda Doherty and Jin Young Ko are the leaders or co-leaders at 7 under. Lottie Wode is 1 shot back at 6 under. Lydia Ko 2 shots back at 5 under. Melanie Green missed the cut this week. Unfortunately, from Shell Ridge Country Club in the Medina area.
Yep.
We're going to have an interview with her. It's going to be recorded on Wednesday, so look for that in our social media. Maybe we'll play snippets at the show next week, but we're going to talk to Melanie Green.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Jeff and Jeff are going to do it, so I'm looking forward to that too, and glad Melanie's agreed to do it.
Yeah. So next week we'll be at GolfDojo, Transit Road location next week. So looking forward to that, and then we'll close out May at Willowbrook. So we'll be back there for our second straight year. We're looking forward to that. So that's our next 2 weeks of shows here as we are live at the West New York PGA headquarters. We'll give you some of the information about, again, making golf a career for you. But let's get our picks in here. It's tough to shy away, Kevin, from that group at -2 that I mentioned. Scheffler, Thomas, Young, English, Oberg. Okay, why don't you, since you know a lot of these other players, make a case for one of these non-big names here to win. Who's the player that maybe that you think is up at the top?
Minwoo.
Okay.
I'll make a case for Minwoo Lee because he's one of the longer hitters on tour, and he's got an outstanding short game, and which I think you're going to have some scramble saves here at Aronimink over the weekend, and that would be my case for Minwoo Lee.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I was going to point towards Minwoo Lee too because I've watched him play. I love how he swings the golf club. Very powerful, very good short game. He's due. I'd like to see Justin Thomas have a nice week too. He's been playing better and better this year. I feel like he still has that odd off day, but I think I'm looking forward to watching him play this weekend.
You know who we haven't talked about, by the way, on that leaderboard of mine is David Puig, right?
He's going to be with Scheffler today, so he'll get some TV time.
Spaniard, he plays on Live, and so that's an intriguing guy, but I still think it's Scheffler.
Let's real quick, McIlroy for 30 seconds. He's amongst a big group of names at +1, Spieth, Koepka, Schauffele, Fowler. Rory came in with the strategy of just, I'm going to hit it forever and deal with it later, he said.
And he had a terrible first round, so I think he adjusted his strategy. And
he really did.
See him in the hunt. Yeah.
He started hitting a ton of more fairways yesterday, and then he's in the top 10 now in putting yesterday too. So that got him back going.
He hit the ball great in Charlotte, putted terribly. He's all gas pedal today, though.
Yep, for sure.
Finishing top 20 doesn't matter to Rory.
No.
It's about winning.
That's right. Hey, big thanks to everybody here at the West New York PGA headquarters. Victoria Shiro, the executive director. Chris Kalinsky for joining us during the show. The PGA of America director of recruiting. MakeGolfYourCareer.org is the website. For Kevin, Jeff, and Evan, I'm Brian Coleshiel. Tee2Green every Saturday right here on WGR.